Talk about being flustered today, but we're going to get it done. Sometimes things don't work out the way you want them to work, but you make them work anyway. So, welcome back in once and all Epic Lunch and Learn episode 55 or 58, excuse me, 58. Had a little technical glitch. We were seeing two of us, two different shows coming at YouTube. So, what I ended up doing was I went ahead and deleted one, but I guess that deleted the way to get onto YouTube. And we always want to show love. We get a lot of love from YouTube. So wanted to do that. I just sent Jess a new link. So make sure she got it. And she did.
Right?
And we're back.
Hey.
So sorry. OMG. I know, and I know what happened too. Silliness where basically there was two pictures of me, and I don't really like seeing two pictures of me on YouTube. So I went ahead and deleted one, but I guess that was the one I should have kept on because I was like, why is there a duplicate? So it was kind
Um,
of strange. And so oh, OMG. So we will try to extend this a little bit. Sorry guys that I will take the blame for that. That's all me. We do have some topics today that I wanted to discuss. One topic that we just started talking about for audience that did not get a chance to see it was just mortgage gaming. We had a conversation with Jay Shaw yesterday, and just in general, a lot of people have bought homes and potentially have bought homes. So, we have to do it the right way. We there is a moral and ethical call of duty for us, almost a fiduciary responsibility. Jess knows about that word in her financial service space. But, you know, it's one of those situations we have to do the right thing. If you own a primary residence, I gave an example of a husband and wife that own a primary residence, but you want to buy a building, that's an investment property.
mhm.
Based on the rules, you can only have one primary house. And it's like, well, I got multiple properties. Which one can I say is my primary? The one you put your head down on,
Right, the one you live in.
the one you sleep. You know where you sleep. That is your primary residence. Anything else, and we've kind of made it even more simplistic. I mean, there used to be that secondary home. Oh, this is secondary. It's not, investment. They've kind of even taken that away now. It's really just, is it a primary and what's an investment property? And if it's an investment property, you're putting 20 to 25% down. If it's a primary, then yes, down payment assistance, grant programs, 3%, 3.5%, 5% down. All those things are potentially available to you. But the first step is defining where is my primary residence. And also too, technically, it's where your income documents say you are. That's another
Right.
thing too. Where do your income documents? The only time you can run into this, and I know we face this, I'm dealing with it right now. I have a couple clients that are looking to refinance, right? And it's been 6 months, 8 months since they bought the house. And, sometimes I get it. I don't want to be at that DMV just like you do. That line is forever. And if you don't get there at like 7 o'clock and stand in line, that can be forever. So I understand some of those people within that first year, we don't quickly go to the DMV and want to stand in line. And so those
Mhm.
driver's licenses still show the old address. But for most, your address, your W 2s, your pay stubs, your bank statements show me where you actually live. What do you think about that?
I think that is completely accurate. I mean, there are so many people that try to game the system, and it's just not worth it at all.
Especially being a boutique kind of shop that I always I use the term a boutique, which means like we specialize in only mortgages, right? We don't really
Mhm.
do anything else, so we have a unique capability of really knowing how mortgages work. But one of the things that we do is we're not this wide base, we can help 1,000 people. We're only really able to help a certain amount of people on a monthly basis. So we don't want to waste the time and muck up the system. The system works when we're doing high quality loans and going through the process, but the system doesn't get worked when we have to stop and try to we're trying to tape up deals and try to make them still work.
And I think that's the important thing. Like, we're smart. We have the technology. Could we figure out how to get more through? Absolutely, we could. But then the level of service suffers, right? Which means the borrower suffers. Like, we are the type of shop that is able to teach you along the way, whereas a lot of shops aren't because they just kind of churn and burn. So that's one
Yeah.
thing I really love about what we do and the way we do it.
No, that's awesome. It is a and it's a fine line. I don't know what that number is for me, and I am working towards trying to define that number, right? So, how many clients can I handle on a monthly basis where I can give them good quality service, and I actually even right now I'm starting to reach to a peak right now where I'm like, anyone else I might have to refer out, right? Because it's just like, hey, I got to clean this up first. Let me focus on these
Hmm.
people, do the right things, and then I can come back. But it's one of those things because it's such a needy business, right? It's a
Right.
thankless job, but it's a need. Like, hey, I'm trying to get this house. Can you help me? Hurry, hurry, hurry. And it's like, I get it. I've been doing it for 2 decades. I understand. But then it's this thankless job because there's a lot of work that goes into just putting a file together.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you
It is
talk about that? Yeah.
it can be very time consuming, and which is crazy to say because we've been doing this for so long that we know how to quickly and accurately put a file together, but it can still be time consuming, especially if you have a borrower that just isn't sure about what their goals are, just not because they're indecisive, but just because they don't know what they don't know, right? And
Sure.
that's what we're here for as loan officers, but also mortgage consultants, right? Because we aim to be the type of professionals that are your mortgage consultants for life. That way you're not telling your story to seven different people over 7 years, you know?
Right.
Um, but yeah, a lot goes into it, especially if you're self-employed. That's going to call for reviewing more income, more in depth. Granted, we have some technology that is helpful now, but there is still a lot of human aspect to it. Um, One thing I'm not worried about is AI taking our jobs. Not
No.
this one. Not this one. Um, Not even the underwriting one, like, not for real, because we work with some AI underwriting, um, and it's just not the same, and you can't do anything, you have to play within this box. So, yeah, putting together a file takes time, figuring out your options takes time, and then to explain that to a borrower, and then they go, "Okay, well, fix this and change this." Okay, cool. That's gonna be another 20, 30 minutes, but it can be done.
Right.
There's a lot
They
that goes into it.
I had the DIY fraud era labeled, and I put down fake leases, inflated income, friends' gifts turning into hidden loans, and then obviously the number one issue that we face right now is occupancy fraud.
So, I
Um,
liked your notes. I was very excited when I got them.
Thank you.
For doing
Vince
this.
teases me. He always teases me. He's like, "Man, what are these notes?"
I love your notes. What?
Thank you.
Get out of
Thank
here. Vince, leave him alone.
I was like, he's like, oh, these notes. But no, yeah, I thought, that's what I've kind of encountered when I think of just fraud as we wrap it up on this concept is, the fake leases, because nowadays, whatever you do, it's eventually going to get caught because I feel like underwriters figure it out after enough of people try to do it. And so now they're asking for proof of the lease income. So if you're saying
Yeah.
$2,500, now they're saying, well, provide me 2 months of bank statements showing me proof that they actually received this 2,500.
I did one earlier this year where they wanted the lease, and that's not something that is normally asked for. They're like, "Okay, you pay this much in rent." No, they wanted the lease. Like,
Correct.
they want to see it, which is totally fine, right? And it is also why I suggest to people, like, even if you're living with family, create a lease. You both need that paper trail. Um, just and it's nothing but to your own benefit. But because we were not live at first, I just want to reiterate: when you are trying to game the system, you're not going to win. You're not going to think of anything new. You have to think about how long the mortgage process has been around, and 50 other people have thought about your bright idea before you did. It's not worth it. Imprisonment, fines, restitution, forfeiting your assets, going to prison, not jail, prison, because mortgage fraud is a federal crime. It is also a state crime, so that's not helpful, but it is a federal crime. It is not worth it by any means.
Yeah, Chicago and Atlanta were like some hubs that, the federal, I feel like the FBI has been around, reviewing and researching. So it's definitely not a place to play around with. It's definitely not something to do. Just you have to have a moral compass and ethics and just do the right thing. When we talk about, and what can happen is, just the impact, right? And so that was kind of,
Mhm.
the loan denial. So it was just a waste of time to even do it in the
Right.
first place. The second concept is the repurchase demands. So you did the loan, and now you gotta buy it back.
Yep.
So now you're paying thousands upon thousands of dollars, you and your brokerage firm. So I mean, that wasn't smart. That's not cool. Probably going to lose your job where you're working at. It's just an impact on everyone's life. So it's just not worth it. We got to do the right thing. We all want to get to the top, and I think there's strategies and ways to do that. And that's what we're going to discuss now. We're going to discuss ways to try to get you there, because
Yeah,
I think everybody wants to make it. Everyone wants a little piece of the pie,
for
um,
sure.
but they don't know how to. Right? It wasn't necessarily with all this. What 16? What am I saying? 18 years of schooling. We still never discuss, how do I get to the top? I learned how to be a great employee, but how do I get to the top?
I was having that conversation last night at an event I went to, and the question was, everybody wants to be rich, but does anybody know how to be rich? Like, once you catch the car, what are you gonna do with it?
Mm,
You know, you're like you're a puppy chasing a car. What you gonna do with it if you catch it? And it's
mm.
very much same thing. Like, what do you do with it?
Well, rich is subjective, and that's
Very
something.
much. Let's
Yeah.
say we're talking. Let's say top 10% wealthy. You can go top 20% wealthy. That's still, you
I
know,
mean, to some degree, living in America, you're already in the top 20.
which is crazy, right? If yes, if you're looking at the world, yeah, insane.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like you've already won. I mean, it was kind of a conversation I was having with a client yesterday, and she was with her husband down in Georgia, and I talked about the two things that you can't control in your life. And and I kind of came up with this in my head, but it was when you were born, right? You have no
Hmm.
control. It's like the birth lottery, and where you were born or who you were born to.
Hmm.
So, and those are two critical things.
And
It'd
your
be,
parents.
yeah, here I'm a baby, and it's like it's 1862. Big difference for being, hey, I'm a baby and it's 1980. Hey, I'm a baby and it's 2025. So it's just a big difference, and it's something you can't control. And then as far as once again, when you can't control who your parents are. Do you wake up and
Hmm.
are and your last name Hilton, and now
Right.
you're the future owner of all these hotels? Are you wake up and your last name's Kardashian, and you're with all this wealth? Like, you don't have the control of that.
I feel like Charlie Brown, and life was like Lucy with the football because my last name is Ford, but it went, haha, gotcha.
Ah, and you're in Michigan. How
Yeah.
how messed up is that?
In Detroit specifically,
Jeez.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you like a third cousin or something?
We're
No.
not gonna talk about how I got this last name.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Another time. Another time.
You know how I got it.
Understood. Understood. So it is one of those things where it's like, because of the things that you can't control, right? You did not win the birth lottery. The birth lottery did not go your way. And so now here you are with this opportunity of saying, okay, the first 20 years of your life, it's just learning, right? It's just
Mhm.
trying to understand how this world works. One of the things I ask my friends is like, when did you know where your parents kind of fit into the world? When did you kind of recognize that, in your time, like when you kind of like, because they're your parents, so you might idolize them. They might be your role models. They get on your nerves. But then it's like, when did you kind of figure out where they actually are in the world?
That's a
Do
solid
you
question.
remember the time?
I do. Actually, for the my mom's came later, right? And it was more of a because that was it was more of a deeper realization. My dad I knew from a very, very young age, probably before I started kindergarten,
Mm,
like where he fit in the world.
sure,
And let's just say one was more material than the other,
sure.
you know, for sure, you know. Yeah, absolutely.
It's an interesting conversation. These are the windowsill type of conversations where you just got chill mode and you're just talking, and
Mhm.
and and it's things. This is the stuff that kind of wraps and gets me kind of like these are 2 to 3 hour conversations because it's like what do you do with that information? How do you process that information? What did that make you feel like once you understood like where they stand? Did it raise your level of awareness to a point of like respectability, or were you disappointed, or was it a level like what can you tell me? Let's call a spade a spade. What can
Yeah.
you tell me?
I would never. But I totally get what you're saying.
Man,
I guess I got lucky in that respect, you know.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it is a situation. It is a great conversation that I think everyone should have. It just makes you aware, but there is that moment in time where you kind of realize where they fit into the world and you're like, oh. And then you have a choice, right? You can emulate.
Mhm.
Hey, I can emulate. I've seen it. I've seen it for 20, 30 years. Or if you want something more, you know, luckily because of the internet, now there's opportunities where you can see things. Weren't able to do that 20, 30 years ago.
Right. I mean, Al Gore's internet definitely changed our lives. And being able to, yeah, you can emulate or you can I split the difference and learn from the mistakes, right? And that's what I hope that all 9 of my nieces and nephews take from me, like look at me for what I'm doing wrong, but also pay attention to what I'm doing right and then make it your own,
Sure.
you know? And then
Remix.
also over 30 teaches you that a lot of it is just the genes run deep, the DNA, like nurture versus nature. I don't know. I don't know. That's a whole argument that I see a different side on now because some things are just in you, you know?
Heredity.
Yeah,
Well, that could be scary.
it's terrifying, actually. Yes.
Especially if they're health issues, though. The health
Oh
concerns.
yeah, that's real bad
Come
news
on.
bears. But like, thank, thank goodness for technology, right? Like, we can swab our mouths and see what we're predisposed to now.
Sure.
Um, like, take all the conspiracy that brings out of it, right? It is an option, you know,
Yeah, no doubt.
because
It's
of science.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely, and those are the positives of
Hmm.
technology, AI, all these things that are in our lives now that were never before. I always joke, I knew about Playa del Carmen, Mexico. That's a nice little hidden gem, a great spot, beautiful. And I
Okay.
knew about it because I used to watch the E channel, right?
Oh, E.
Man, Brooke Burke took my heart at a young age. I mean, I was just staring like, where is she going now? Wow. Didn't even know what didn't even man, all these beautiful places, just took my heart, took my breath away. And but that was all that you had, and that was before the internet, and
Right.
so now the internet comes and you could see all this, for some degree positivity, right?
Hmm.
The beauties of the world. You can see opportunities, things that people are explaining. People are using these platforms now to give us information, and hopefully, that's what we're doing today. Hopefully, with this information, that people can take advantage of it and apply it to them. So that would be a segue to rate chasing, right? We have a lot of people on the fence, and we're trying to give you information so you can disseminate it and make the right choices for you. So what do you want to talk about with rate chasing?
So I was glad to see that on your notes. All right, so there is a video going around the social medias. I saw this probably about a month and a half ago, and now I've seen 8 other copies. people are recreating them as if they were if this was their idea. But essentially the whole basis in all of them is guy walks up, sees a house, and I'll buy it next year. Price goes up. I'll buy it next year. Price and rates go up. I'll buy it next year. Price and rates goes up. So, you do this about 6, 7 years, and eventually you just can't afford it because you've priced yourself out the market. It's kind of the same thing with rates. Like I have so many borrowers that are waiting for rates to go down that they lose their opportunity to become homeowners. I definitely explain the marry the house, date the rate method, right?
Hmm.
I think it's a very good method. Um, I also think that there's a lot of confusion on like what it all means, right? So I've seen people wait like, "Oh, no, I think we can I don't need a 6.5. I think it'll come down to a 6." Cool. Do you know how much of a difference that makes in your monthly payment though? And
Mm.
when it does come down to a 6, let's just refinance it because if we're being smart and you are purchasing in an area that is a good investment, right? Historically holds its value, then chances are by the time rates come down to that 6, you're going to have some more equity in your home just because you've got new neighbors,
Yeah, no
right?
doubt.
Though yeah, the inventory is moving. Um but I hate watching people wait. Like, we had that tiny, tiny refinance boom that lasted about a week and a half in September. And I watched so many people miss the opportunity to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars off their mortgages. 300 here, 200 there, 500 there. And no, because they were waiting for the rates to go down. Mainly because they were listening to news sources, right? That you could not get away from. They were everywhere, right? The Fed, the Fed, the Fed, Jerome Powell. I More people know Jerome Powell now than anybody else heading up the Fed, right? Because his name is in your face now. But they just, you know, weren't aware of how it really works. So chasing a rate will absolutely cause you to miss out on whether it be the home you want or the pricing that you could actually afford.
No, I'm with you on that. It is something, growing up, and I grew up in the 80s and 90s, politics uh, were always there, but it seemed to be quiet.
Yeah,
There was a level of quietness. It was like it's over there, but I'm not really. It's not in my vision. Maybe I was a kid. Maybe I had just other focuses. I'm not paying attention to the news. I was like allergic to the news. I mean, that was called boring. Like I didn't want to be bothered even thinking about something like that. I knew about the president. I knew about the White House and the first family and all that type of jazz. So obviously, I think it forever changed with 44. When
for
44 came into the building, it forever changed everything that we could ever think of. And it just polarized that position. And it really just hasn't stopped from there. The position has just been polarized, 45 and 47.
hmm
And it's become a soap opera, almost a drama story. And it's been exhausting, but it's brought out characters like Ben Bernanke and Janet Yellen. I didn't know who Alan Greenspan was. I'm not ashamed to
right.
say it. I didn't know, no clue. Who's that? Who's that old guy? But all these players now are like as if they're in a soap opera. What are they going to do today? Tune in, to
Yeah.
the next news cycle and find out what are they going to do. And it's crazy.
And
So
that's the thing. It's entertainment.
it is.
It is literally entertainment. Like even Fox, right? It is an entertainment channel. It is not even advertised as news. It's advertised as entertainment.
Yeah, yeah. When they did the whole when they had to defend themselves, well, Fox News had to defend themselves with Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
They had to say, "Hey, it's entertainment.
right.
Yeah,
No,
this is
we're
not
not looking at
news." Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um that I think I started paying attention around 43 because I was in high school when 9/11 happened.
Mm,
So that that's what clicked in my mind. A lot of us, right? A lot of us that were in high school at the time, we were like, what is happening? Why is this happening? And that's where I think I started really paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a. I told the story on the show, but I was at a yoga class, because that's where my mind was.
Oh, I was in homeroom and people
Okay.
just started disappearing from the building. Like
Yeah. I
parents,
wa- yeah,
cars,
yeah. Literally at a yoga class in the morning.
trying to
Uh,
woosah.
Not even that. If you get my flow, I was on a different mission at that time, but it was a yoga class in the morning. I went to get something to eat at the cafeteria. I'm in college, and then they're like, all classes are closed today, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? So yeah, no, I think yeah, it just it doesn't make sense, right? When you're talking numbers, when you're saying, hey, you're if you're offering 6.5, and then like, oh no, I'm just gonna wait until the rates get lower. Where's lower?
What that part. And what terrifies me is I have so many people still ask me,
Hmm.
Jess, when do you think rates are going back to twos and threes? And
Ooh.
I've tried to explain, I have explained so many times to people that that was an anomaly that
Right.
lasted longer than anyone expected it to. And, well, I hope it happens again. No, you don't. You don't hope it happens again because you don't know what you're asking for. If
Correct.
we see rates in the twos and threes, our economy has crashed and we are all in a bad spot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we don't want that to happen. I don't want to go through another pandemic. A lot of, whatever charlatan, some people feel out there. I mean, real people did die. I mean, people died, more than the norm, right? I
Hmm.
mean, I remember in the beginning of it, I was staring at the deaths and like, but there was a spike in deaths. I mean, we do factually know that.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, it's just, no, I don't want to see people passing away. But yeah, I mean, rates are based on the market. And so when people invest in bonds, that's when rates go down. And when people are thinking, hey, everything's great and the market's kicking butt, then rates go up because the market is going up.
Right.
Only time the rates really go down is if we have to defend unemployment. And that would mean the market is not so well. So I did have some stats here because some people say they like my stats. I was like,
Ooh,
you
I
like
love
my
stats. Let's
stats?
do it.
What did I find? I found that what was it? It was like 153,000 in October. Yeah, U.S. companies announced 153,000 job cuts in October, according to the Challenger Job Cuts report, which was the highest number in more than 20 years. I mean, so there is a level of saying that, with all the job cuts, there might be reason for rates to go down. There might be a legitimate reason for rates to go down. So we do have to be mindful of that. I thought that was, it said the Challenger Job Cuts report showed that the companies announced 153,000 in October, almost triple the number during the same month last year, and driven by the technology and warehousing sectors. It's the most for any October since 2003. The job cuts data were seen as a weaker than expected, and so that's something that we need to pay attention to. And then what else? And then it was funny. This happened a couple weeks ago, but they were talking about how they were saying the median age of a first-time homebuyer has hit an all-time high of 40.
Yeah.
And then, with soaring home prices and mortgage rates causing many Americans to delay buying their first home. So if we have job cuts where you're scared and now you don't have enough money, so you got to wait until you get older, because it seems like the older you get, the more money you make. That's the general nature, unless you have
Right.
a unique talent, or, if you're Justin Bieber, if you're Coco Golf, but besides that, the older you are, the more money you make, and then therefore you might be more have an ability to actually be able to buy. So these are concerns that will offset interest rates, and hopefully interest rates will go down, but it's never a straight line. That's always the thing that I have to remind people. It's never a straight line. And things will go up and down.
Hmm.
And what was funny, and to that point, was the whole government shutdown. So it's kind of like, kids in the candy store. When the shutdown occurred, it's like, okay, great, let's lower these rates. And then, everything was all fun and fine until the end of October when, Jerome Powell and his crew came in and said, we can't guarantee lower rates December 9th,
Right.
because we need to get the data. And so now the data, coming out slowly as they're trying to, catch up over 30 some odd days, what, 43 days total in the shutdown. So for them to get this data is going to be the access. So it's a 53% chance right now that they say that the rates will see a quarter point uh, deduction, come December 8th. And I think, so it's 50-50.
And that, and we're not going to get more than a quarter. Like,
Nope.
that'll be it.
They said we do not have anything next week. Next week, no. Yeah, they're expecting the minutes from the last Federal Reserve meeting to come out next week, as well as existing home sales, and how and when delayed data will be released is still a question. Because obviously we got Thanksgiving next week, with Black Friday, so those used to be working days back in the day. I know 20 years ago, Black Friday was a work day, but now, we have,
Oh, there's so many companies that like it's the people get Black Friday off before they get MLK Day off. you know,
it's man,
it's
it's a,
for real.
Thanksgiving is a 2 day day, two
Yeah.
days. Um,
Not in our industry though.
no, no, no,
No
no,
matter if the market's open or not.
man, we working.
Right.
They say, so with the data being, still in question of when the data will come out, and then obviously just holidays, the expectation of the quarter point rate cut in December sits at 53% currently. So, I thought that was interesting to just, it's not a foregone conclusion. And I think that's what you're seeing with the rates. The rates don't know which way to go right now because, we like to predict things in the mortgage space. We like to kind of, you know, read the market, see where it's going, and kind of know in advance. And we really don't know. So they're hedging right now towards the higher side than reducing rates because they really don't know. And I can't blame the Fed to not lower rates in December. They just don't have enough data. That might have to be tabled until next year.
I mean, you know what? I can't blame them either. Like for for my income, for my paycheck, would I love for those rates to go lower so
Facts.
just a little bit of it trickles to us?
Yeah.
Sure. But I mean, from an economical standpoint, I get it,
Yeah.
you know?
No, and
We
that's why it's so important to talk strategy because it's like, hey, I think we're kind of where we're going to be for at least the interim.
Yeah.
The 5.5 or the 5.25, that combo, or oh, what do you think it's gonna? Hey, we're gonna chill on that. That's got to be, that's got to be parked right now. Right now, we got to look at the strategy that we have right now and have these conversations. Um, and we're doing a lot of strategy, obviously, in with the mindset of being wealth building. Trying to help you. First, let's get you to the house, right? Let's secure a home. Let's buy
Mhm.
you an asset. That's it's been the standard. Kind of Paul. The standard bear is to get an asset, buy your home, the American dream. Let's get you a home, let's get your family secure. And then once you get the home, let's make sure you keep the home. And so that's why we have to have the constant conversations, roughly every 6 months. Let's have those conversations to stay, to stay tied to,
Right.
stay connected. It's funny. I went to the dentist yesterday, and I talked about the dentist as one of those industries where I feel like your dentist, the person with your hair, your hairstylist, your barber, like
Mhm.
that's sacred. Like I don't
Oh
want
yeah.
3,000 people all up in my teeth.
Oh yeah. No, I won't. There are two people on this planet that I will let put scissors in my hair. Like,
There you go.
yeah,
There you
I get
go.
it.
So I want the loan officer position to be one of those sacred positions.
It should be just like financial advising. Like
100%.
that should be one person.
Yeah. I mean, how many people do you want having your social security number out there?
That's fat. I mean,
Man.
$20 on the dark web at this point, but I get what you're saying.
That's scary to think. My goodness.
Listen, my
Man.
business bank account got hacked 2 days ago. Thankfully, I've got all the
Ooh.
multi-factor, authentications on it, and I was like, "No, that wasn't me." but it's
Yeah.
just so easy.
No, it is. I didn't even realize I was using right across the street is the post office. So I'm
Mhm.
literally right across the street from the post office. And then you tell people that, and then you're right across the street from the post office. I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice. How did you not notice? What are you talking about? But so anyway, I would put the mail. I still old school. I'm a check guy, and I would put the check in the mailbox.
Come on
Bad
now.
move. They can whitewash that. Like,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
I was like, woo. Uh oh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I
Uh
mean, like,
oh.
we got, RFID blocking sleeves. Like, if you buy a bag now, chances are it's coming with that blocking system
Man.
because skimmers are just so. You can buy 'em on you can buy 'em on Amazon, you can get them on eBay, Like,
It goes back to another arching storyline that I feel like people just don't believe in the American dream anymore. They don't subscribe to the 40 and 20. They don't want to do that. And so they're looking for ways to cheat the system, to game the system. We're back to our first, topic of the day. It's just like when we talk about these things, it's just like, man, why can't you just get a regular job? You're so smart.
a
Create a
regular
new technology, get a patent. If you had a patent and a license, how much residual income you could potentially get. Like, you have all these brains, but this is what you're doing with your life, and it making my life difficult because now I got to pay attention to this stuff. Like, oh man, where do I put my mail at? Oh man,
The
it's
American
just
dream has
crazy.
changed so much, though. Like, I don't even think we really know what it is anymore.
Well, it's
It's
subjective, right?
right, yeah. Like, but it is, yeah, it is
I mean, back in the day, it was the 40 acres and a mule.
right.
I
Which
mean,
let me tell
which
you,
was a
that was
promise
that
that
was
that
never a good idea anyway.
it was a
One
promise.
mule, right? That was
We never
never
got
carried
it.
out.
Never got it. Man, the person that even offered that promise, he was killed. So I
Still
mean,
waiting.
man. So yeah, no, it's just one of those situations where, it just feels like, I mean, you just have to be so careful nowadays. And
Yeah,
so, my social security number, my hair, my teeth, my body, man, is going to be slim pickings that are really going to have access to those the items. I just, so I encourage people to, really engage and have a relationship with a loan officer, whoever it might be. I mean, obviously, we want you to
right,
work with Jess, we want you to work with me, but whoever it is, you really need to engage and have a relationship and feel comfortable with them, and that they're providing you not only products but strategy. Strategy is so much important. That is the value proposition that we really offer. It's the strategy of because sometimes and then we talked about this on the last show. Just with the concept of, oh hey, I can save you money per month. Well, how will I say you save you interest for years?
right. What's that look like over longer than a month? What's it look like over a decade?
Correct.
You know.
Yeah, it's band-aids that sometimes loan officers will provide you. A short-term band-aid.
So, one, okay, there is, right? Speaking of the relationship, yes, the relationship is important. And I think there is a dynamic duo that gets looked over a lot, and that is your realtor loan officer
There we go.
combination,
There we
right?
go.
When I talk to my borrowers and my realtors, I tell them, okay, we a team now. Here's everybody's lane, right? I'm actually doing a deal right now where that my borrowers have been shopping for a house for about literally 3-4 months. I've had to update their credit report, right? It's long enough for credit to expire. And I have not talked to the realtor not once. Not
Hmm,
because I haven't texted and called and emailed, but she just won't talk to me.
that's the problem.
That is a problem. Thankfully, I have a borrower in this couple, right? They're both intelligent, and they are really good at the game of telephone because
Mm,
that is how I am like getting messages from the realtor through the borrower. Um, this is very frustrating. I'm not a fan of this because we're supposed to be a team. Like, I have one realtor that I absolutely love to work with. Um, Shout out to Sarah Redding, Red Realtor, right here in the Detroit metro area. Um, Sarah and I strategize together, right? So after we collect goals, we ask about future goals. Okay, so do you think this is going to be your forever home? Or are you going to want something different in the future? You're going to want to upgrade? You're going to want to downgrade? What do you want to do? And so, based on whatever their goals are or whatever they think their goals might be, we're very strategic about not only what kind of mortgage we put them in, but what area we start them off in. Maybe they think they want to live in this city, but if the goal is to then flip that into an investment property in 5 to 10 years, okay, let's look at this city because it's going to hold its historical value a little more than this one over here. You have a better chance of turning that into an investment property and then moving up into what you want. Like, and this is with the realtor. I don't get to have those kind of conversations with a lot of realtors
No,
because
and that's a shame.
it is because I feel like, we know that we can do a purchase and then a refi, a refi, a refi. And I don't think realtors understand all the time that they don't have to be one and done,
No,
you know?
yeah, it's a you have to find like-minded people, right? At the end of the day, you want to find someone that speaks your language and you understand. I make a comment all the time of saying we both speak English, but we both don't understand each other.
Hmm.
And we really have to take that time to really get to know each other and feel comfortable with each other, because hopefully it's a long-term relationship, that
Right.
the realtor will, hey man, this guy's got some fresh ideas. He's, man, giving me something. And we want to build that relationship because there are times where there's just levels. I think that the issue is a realtor, how hard I work to get this client, and now you get, there's a timeline, and every timeline will be subjective, it'll be different, but there's a timeline where you get annoyed and you just want to get it done.
Right. Yeah.
And you get to that point where I just want this done. I want to get this done. I want to and you don't want anything to get in your way, right? This is me as if I was a realtor, right? It's like, I've been working with this guy for 3 months, showed him 80 homes, and now he finally found something. And then I just don't want the loan officer to muck it up. I don't want the home inspection to muck it up. I don't want, anyone to
Yeah.
get
You
in
just
my
want to
way.
be done.
I want to be done, and I want my check,
Yep.
right? I want to get paid for this. I mean, the reality, and consumers should know this, that like, hey, we don't get paid until the deal closes. I mean, there is no compensation. So, there is a psychotic nature of the real estate industry because we're working for free. We're,
It
man,
absolutely. I had a borrower call me the other day about signing a realtor contract, and he's like, "Well, I don't. Do I have to pay her if I don't find a house?" No, that's not how that works. And this is someone who has been a homeowner,
right.
is currently a homeowner, right? And some people just don't know. But yeah, no, that we do. We work, especially realtors, right? Because we now have the luxury of being able to sit behind our desk, sit at home, whatever. We don't have to leave if we choose not to. People ask me all the time, Jess, why aren't you dual licensed in Michigan? You could be a realtor. Absolutely not. No, thank you. It is not for me. It takes a very special kind of person to be a
Special.
realtor. Very special kind of person to be a realtor because you got to think about it. One, you've got so many people that just aren't, they're so very unserious. And that realtor is miles and gas alone. Like
Man,
you're never going to get your time back, right? And that's the part that would make me the most unhappy. But knowing that you've spent, let's say, even $100 in gas, right? Just driving this person around. And then you find out like their pre approval letter is fake, or, nope, I just wanted to look. I wasn't really thinking about
kicking
buying anything.
tires.
Yeah. It's like, okay. So there's that. And they just lose so much money like that.
Man, shout out to all the realtors out there that do their thing, especially in the Midwest. We got to show that love because it's
Yeah.
getting cold. It's 44 and
Oh,
cloudy.
yes.
Man, you
The
out there
winter
and,
realtors.
man, -2 degrees, and
Yeah.
you out there with the little muffs on your ears.
And then they buy them gifts
Man,
and not crappy gifts. They get them, these realtors are putting together these beautiful baskets and like of not cheap stuff, right? Like so they're yeah, it takes a special kind of person to be a realtor. I One of my favorite realtors, he does not work in the winter.
mm,
Let's see, what is it? It's November, Halloween. He's like, I'm done. till like March, depending on what the weather is. Sometimes he doesn't come back out until April. He hustles spring, summer, a little bit of fall, so that he does not have to step out his door in the winter.
Crazy. Hey,
Yeah.
let's this is kind of a weird one because we started, then we stopped, and then we kind of going. But here, let's do a real quick housekeeping notes. Just can you give your contact information?
Absolutely. So, as always, you guys can find me on Instagram at jford_consulting. Phone number, if you want to write it down, is 313-673-6108. I am also going to throw a link to all things Jess Ford in the chat. So feel free to follow, save, whatever. Whatever makes you happy. I'm going to put
Awesome.
that in the chat right now.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. This episode today is sponsored by Epic Mortgage. Whether you're buying, refinancing, or investing, call Epic today, 708-905-5300, 708-905-5300. Your dreams, your goals, let's plan together. Now, once again, if you need a book that can give you the playbook on strategies, things that you weren't aware of. How many people didn't know that you could get a fix and flip renovation loan? How many people didn't know you could do a VA renovation loan? Then all you need to do is check out that book behind me. It's on Amazon. It's the Ultimate Mortgage Guide. It was me basically saying, hey, I've been getting the same questions for over 20 years. It's time for me to do the education myself. So put the book together, check it out. It's great for the holidays. Oh, I don't know what to get her. What should I get him? I don't know. Get him the book, Ultimate Mortgage Guide.
Hey, anybody over the age of 18 that can legally sign a contract, that is an excellent book to get them. I have a cousin who only gives out books for Christmas. You want to get your kid a stocking stuffer? Get them prepped now,
Yes.
so they
Yes.
know what to that they need to save. They know what to look forward to. They know what moves they need to make and what moves they should not make to set themselves up for home ownership.
Fact.
There are quite a few homeowners in their 20s right now. I'm doing a loan for a 21-year-old. Like,
Awesome.
yeah, last
Yeah.
year, guy 23. Like, it can be done if you start off correctly.
Yeah.
So
A-
that
a-
book's a good starting point.
and also too, with that being said, even if you are a homeowner, there's probably stuff, that you haven't experienced or done, you're looking to sell and buy again. It's a good refresher. Oh, I
Hmm.
didn't I didn't know that. Huh. I wasn't sure. So it just gives you some basic information, get you going. It's an easy read, and it'll set you on the right path. After the show, if for all those on LinkedIn, on Facebook, if you can go to the YouTube channel Epic Spotlight, make sure you give this a thumbs up. Let me know that this is the type of content that you want to hear. I really appreciate that. It goes a long way. And also, too, want you to check out the latest Epic Spotlight podcast. It was with Timbaland Bowens. Are you afraid of the IRS or worried about making tax mistakes? Discover the inside scoop from IRS enrolled agent and tax expert Timbaland Bowens. In this exclusive interview, Timbaland Bowens unveils the secrets to staying out of trouble with the IRS, maximizing your tax savings and avoiding the most common and costly mistakes, especially after COVID and the recent tax law changes. Learn how business owners and everyday people can protect themselves, file correctly, and stop fearing the tax season. So, had a great opportunity to speak to Timbaland Bowens. She'll probably be with us one time in January. She's still very busy, but look forward to that. So definitely check out the Timbaland Bowens most recent podcast. And then we do have some preferred listings. All of our preferred listings that I have are on www.danteroyster.com, www.danteroyster.com. So you can check them out there. But a couple, I'll name a few, is 2030 East 72nd Place, Unit 3D. It's a condo, 2 bed, 1 bath, going for $99,000. Contact Evelyn Woods, 773-718-9742. We have 541 East 60th Street, Unit 1A. That's also with Evelyn Woods, going for 115,000, 773-718-9742. And then we have 12707 Simbay Court, Jacksonville, Florida. Single family home, 4 bed, 3 bath, going for 388. Contact Charday Nix, 904-520 8041. Once again, all the other listings that we do have available are on danteroyster.com. So make sure you check those out. Now we do have some questions, so appreciate everyone putting some chats and in. So let's go through these questions and get them done.
Yay, I love this
What's the
part.
biggest mistake? Yes. What's the biggest mistake buyers make when chasing lower rates? That's right up your alley, Jess.
It is literally chasing the rate. Chase anything but the rate. Chase the house. Uh, Chase the neighborhood, the school district. The rate, you don't have to keep that rate forever. The average American refinances it used to be 3 to 5 years, and now it's like every 2 to 3 years. There are so many different strategies between mortgage terms and fixed rates versus adjustable rates. You have so many different strategies. Um, don't chase the rate. That should be the last thing you're chasing. If Get in the house, get in the neighborhood, get in the school district, and then we worry about the rate later because that's something that we can always change.
Awesome. I was trying to look
Wait,
something up. Go
asterisk.
ahead.
We can always change if you keep your employment credit and pretty much your finances the same or better.
Yeah, it was something I'm trying to get it real fast. It was something I read a long time ago, and I was like, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for everybody. Let me see if it pops up. Um, According to multiple reporting sources, President Joe Biden, President 46, and Jill Biden have refinanced their Delaware properties 35 times.
Hey,
How you
that
like
makes
that?
sense.
So, if the president, number 46, 35 times.
Right.
Okay. So he's pulling some cash out, I'll tell you that, Jess. Pull some cash
Oh,
out, lower the
for
rate.
sure.
Pull some cash out, lower the rate.
Because that's how the wealthy stay wealthy. They don't spend their own money. You buy
And
debt.
remember, it's not taxable, so get that money.
Right, exactly.
All right, here we go. How can agents spot mortgage fraud early before it gets serious?
Ooh, I'm so ready for that question. Let's talk about that. Okay, real quick. Grab a pen and paper or pull out your phone. We're going to take some notes. Okay, so realtors are a crucial part of the risk management. Okay. So, yes, we talk to our clients a lot as loan officers. I talk to some clients 5 times a day. Some of them I talk to them every 2 days, right? We talk, we text, but realtors are there with them. They are close to the client. So they have some knowledge that we don't. So, just some quick bullet points. One, unrealistic income or assets. So if you've got a borrower that's reported income and it just seems disproportionately high for their job title or their industry, dig into that. Be curious about it. If you have a buyer that has a sudden large unexplained deposit, right? And these are not always things that realtors ask about. The realtors I work with, they know to ask these questions. I give them a checklist so that we're not wasting our time. This is one of the things you want to ask about. Ask about any large deposits and let them know, like, hey, that's going to be a problem when it comes to the application process. Make sure you bring that up to your loan officer. Um, if your buyer claims to have a a large down payment, but you know they have very thin or a poor credit history, that doesn't align. Those two things don't go together. Be curious about it. Um, Occupancy misrepresentation. That's huge, right? If they're applying for a primary residence, right, which we know has the lowest rate, but they have no plan to move in, that's bad news bears. Don't do that. Don't let them do that. Explain the risk to them. If they have let's say they own another property and they are categorizing it as a second home, right? Luckily, all the pricing has changed so that investment properties and second homes are pretty much the same thing now. We definitely caught wind of that. But They don't want to claim it's something that it's not, right? And so most loan officers now are listing second homes as investment properties because we know what's up. If you have a second home and it's not more than, the rule was 50 miles, but realistically, who has a second home within 50 miles, right? Even here in Michigan, it's probably about 100 miles up north, right? A lot of people have property up north here. It's still, you're still going about 100 miles. Um, you can't have a house that you pay the bills on, but your dad lives in. It's still an investment property. Just be very curious. Think about it like meeting someone out at a bar or grocery store. What insert wherever you meet friends here. You're curious about those people. You're paying attention to what they say because those people, your guard is up because they have nothing to offer you, right? They're not necessarily going to make you money. But when you have a borrower, you see this as a potential for income. Your guard still needs to be up. Be curious. Ask the questions.
Awesome. Great answer. Brad writes, "What's one thing every first-time buyer should double check on their loan?"
Ooh, there are so many things. Uh oh, you know what? Okay. My one is product type. And I know that that sounds super simple, but I have run into too many borrowers just this year that thought that they were in a conventional loan and were really in a non-QM loan, which changes everything. So check your product type. If it doesn't say conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, ask questions.
Awesome.
I never thought I would have to say that, but product type is huge. Oh, and taxes. Taxes probably over product type. A lot of people don't realize the whole homestead thing for taxes. First time home buyers definitely need to be double checking taxes. I've run into a couple borrowers this year that where their taxes were not explained correctly by their loan officer nor their realtor. I see it's both their responsibilities. And now these people who just bought these houses this year are now selling them because they can't afford the taxes
Hmm.
because they shot up. So yeah, taxes and product type in that order.
What's the most surprising fraud trend you're seeing right now?
Honestly, it's the for me, it's that product type. Like that's blowing my mind. I'm seeing it too often.
Yeah. Oh, bueno. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I try to steer clear, so I don't really see too much.
Yeah, like and the product type thing, obviously, these people are trying to they're calling me to save them, but so yes, fraud is a whole thing and it does happen and it happens often, but there are just so many loan officers and brokers not trying to lose their licenses, not trying to go to jail, right? We hold federal licenses. We can't do illegal things. If we do, that's it. Like
Right.
you better learn how to bag groceries, which not even a thing anymore because of self-checkout.
Self checkout. We do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's see here. How can realtors prevent clients from failing for bad advice online or falling for bad advice? Excuse me,
Oh,
falling for.
okay. How can realtors keep borrowers from falling for bad advice
I
online?
think you have to have your facts. I think you need to have your facts in line. I mean, with this AI mechanism, whether it's Gemini or ChatGPT, like, we were able to fact check something that even I said yesterday just to see if I was valid. I was
Mhm.
making a comment about the clients I was talking about in Georgia, where we're talking about doing a cash out refinance with a VA loan, and we're going to go 100%. And they want to take the money out in order to basically start now, um, kind of the succession of just their assets. Hey, let's extract the money now. Let's get it to them so they can, get it to their kids and start the process early. And we're talking about, what would I do with the money? I was like, well, you're either going to put it in real estate or you're going to put it in stocks. and we're going to look at the overall concept of what have stocks have done. I said, let's look at 2004 to 2024. I said, I mean, stock has roughly done 10%. And the guy was like, "No, it's not that high, not that high." So I was like, "All right, let's fact check." And it was actually 9%. And I was like, "Dude, I wasn't that far off."
Close enough.
Yeah, like let's slow down. But it was with those capabilities that you have right on your fingertips. I mean, so if they are getting false information, if they are listening to the TikTok guy who's closed 2 deals all year long, but he's a TikTok master. um you can just fact check some of the stuff, because I do see some of the advertisement. A lot of customers will come to me, Dante, what do you think about this? This guy said this. And I'm like, well, that's half true. I mean, he's giving me the good part, but he
Right.
didn't explain the whole part to you. And so those things do have to be expressed for sure.
Kevin, the last thing I say to my clients before I hang up is, okay, last thing I'm going to tell you, and I need you to remember it. And they stop and they go, okay, Jess, stay off the internet. And if you just can't help it, if you see something that is too good to be true, you fact check through me. That I tell every one of my clients that you fact check through me.
Yeah, no, that's the way to do it. We got 3 more, and then we'll get it wrapped up. How do you keep buyers from freezing when rates move up?
Explaining the numbers, sitting down with them and doing the actual math. That's what I do. Um, once they can see, once, so I call it, right, and I did not coin this, is from one of my previous trainers, but breaking the numbers down to the ridiculous, right? So that means breaking it down to the year, to the month, to the day, by penny, break it down to the ridiculous. Um, I know with realtors, there's only so much you guys can see, um, and only so much your systems will give you. But that's where being on a team with a loan officer is so important. The couple realtors I work with, they know they can call me, Jess, hey, we need to jump on a call with this borrower and explain the numbers. Cool. Awesome. That's where being a team is so important, because there are things about that contract that I don't know, right? Because that's not my job. It is the realtor's domain. And then there are things about the numbers that realtors don't know, because that's my lane. I'll teach you along the way for sure. Never going to not want to teach you, but you just got to know when to direct the questions back to the person that is most responsible for it, and then go along, be there for the ride, because you'll learn, and then you'll learn how to answer that question, or at least what specific questions to ask when rates move up. You can create a pitch just by listening to your loan officer.
Yeah, exactly. And then what's the number one myth about mortgages buyers still believe?
Ooh, I don't know.
What's the number one
20%
myth?
down. You
I
have
was,
to,
I was thinking that too,
yeah.
20% down.
You're gonna pay off your mortgage. No, you're not. Um, Yeah, I think 20% down, and like people, there are a lot of people who are like, I gotta get the mortgage paid down to zero before I can buy another. No, you don't.
Oh,
Nobody's,
no, that, yeah.
what is it that I should look up I'm gonna look up the percentage of people that actually pay off their mortgages before moving on to another home, like on purpose,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, that's
It's,
probably a big
I
one.
think that's probably one of the biggest ones, the 20% down and actually paying it off.
Yeah. And then what's the last comment? I love you to show Scrubs. That's funny. Is that a friend?
I don't know that person. I was hoping you did.
No, no, I did not. That's funny. But no, hey, I appreciate everyone. We went a little extended today just because we had some technical issues in the beginning. Are you game for next Wednesday, day before
Oh,
Thanksgiving?
hold on. Before, let you know me, I gotta be accurate. I'm gonna say
All right,
ninety
schedule. We got
percent.
the schedule queen in the building.
Yes, I'm good for November 26th, a week from today.
A week from today would be great to what are we thankful of? Maybe towards the industry and the
Mm.
people, and we can have that conversation together. That would be stupendous.
I that would be stupendous. I actually wrote down some topics I already want to talk about next week.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Hey, so thanks to everybody. We'll be back next week. Fresh new crew. I think we're starting to, we're doing such a great job. I think Jess is sticking with us on Wednesday, so that's super cool. And then we got Vince on Mondays, and then we got a special guest on Tuesday. So I think we're starting to formulate a kind of a system here.
Ooh, we have a pattern.
We like patterns. We like systems. That's how Dante works. It takes me a while to figure it out, but I'm getting there. So we're finding the right players and we're having great conversations. So I hope everyone likes it. Make sure you give this a like I said, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Jess, you got anything else to say?
Nope, that's it. Take care, peeps. Be safe.
Ta-ta for now.
TTFN. Ta ta for now.
Bye.
Bye.